Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. We're going to start in a couple minutes. Thank you.
Good morning. Good morning and welcome to the annual press conference 2018 of ŠKODA AUTO in this Vision Hall in the training center in Kosmanovci, where usually we'll do training activities for our staff members, and today the annual press conference. Let me also welcome the many listeners on the live stream or the ones following us on YouTube. Before we start, I'd like to introduce three cars. Our Vision X, first of all, the highlight show car from Geneva. The Kodiaq LK, a wonderful, beautiful model, a high trim line. And you might have been surprised about this vintage car here. It's a Tracker from 1966 with ŠKODA Octavia technology. 3,000 pieces were built, and the museum has now managed to get us one from New Zealand. So, of course, we had to show you this. And you can see that our SUV tradition is far longer than only the Yeti. Let me also introduce today's speakers to you. Bernhard Maier, our CEO, of course, Klaus-Dieter Schürmann for Finance, and Bodan Vojna for HR. Let me also welcome Alain Favet from Sales and Marketing on the board, and Mr. Povcik, the chairman of COVO. Now, what's the plan for today? Well, we'll look at our earnings and results for 2017, which will be presented by the speakers, followed, of course, by an outlook of 2018 and the years to come. There's translation, 5 languages, as you can see from the channels, so that everybody will be able to follow. The speeches will be given in German and Czech. Let me now welcome Bernhard Maier on the stage. Over to you.
Good morning. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. It's really great to have you all here, that you've come here to Mlada Boleslav. A very warm welcome to the annual press conference of ŠKODA. I'm very happy to tell you about 2017 and at the same time, together with you, also look ahead at the strategy 2025, or what we really are going to do here. 2017 for ŠKODA, well, it was the best year in the 122-year history of the company, and our strategy is really having an impact. That's the most important message this morning. The company is the epitome of stable success, steady success in times of major and rapid changes. And this success is really based on three pillars. First of all, and that's the most important thing, a team effort, an outstanding team effort. 35,000 Skodians, as we call them, work with excellent sense of commitment, outstanding commitment, passion, and a great team spirit to make the company a success. Secondly, and that's just as important, of course, we got convincing products. 7 model ranges make ŠKODA a company with the widest and most attractive range of models ever. And of course, it goes down extremely well with our customers. And thirdly, we got strong partners on our side. Volkswagen Group has always been a reliable partner for 27 years, bringing the company a valuable competitive advantage, in particular, of course, in times of radical change. And with Kovo, we've got a very strong social partner on our side, and we've always been working constructively with them in the past, and I do expect this to be continued. Mr. Pavchik, a very warm welcome. It's great to have you today. 2017, ladies and gentlemen, has also shown something else, and that is that rapid fundamental changes are increasingly becoming the new normal in world politics and the global economy, and that's also, of course, in the automotive industry. In this challenging environment, ŠKODA in 2017 managed to really move up and add to what it got in all important aspects. 1,200,500 vehicles. With that, the brand was able to increase its delivery by 6.6%, a new sales record. Sales of the company, sales revenue, 16.6 billion, a new all-time high, plus 20.8%. Year on year. And the global share, well, 1.44% up, slightly above the year before. And the operating profit also reached a new record high. It increased by 34.6% to 1.611 billion euros. Ladies and gentlemen, we're happy, of course, very happy about this, but there is something else that's just as important, and that is that this growth has been able to be achieved, because this growth really provided some additional latitude for us, for investments into new technologies like e-mobility or digitalization. So we've got the money to invest into this now. And all in all, these figures show that ŠKODA is a very healthy company. It's attractive and it delights people worldwide, both retail and corporate customers. Now, how did the overall markets develop last year? The markets in which we as ŠKODA are present. I'll try to summarize a bit. Western Europe, well, it continued its growth phase. Deliveries in these markets from all manufacturers increased by 2.5% to a total of 14.3 million vehicles. Central Europe, strong growth, 1.09 million vehicles, a plus of 12.5%. Eastern Europe keeps growing significantly, plus 14%, 470,000 vehicles altogether. And in Russia, the market grew by 12.3% to 1.47 million vehicles. China is and will be the driving force for growth, 12.3% up, Oh, sorry, 4.1% up to a total of 23.8 million vehicles. And of course, when you look at India, we also got increases there. It's the second largest, and it's also the number 2 when it comes to the speed of growth, plus 8.6% to a total of 3 million vehicles. Now, the question, of course, is, what about ŠKODA and the sales regions and the developments there? Let's take a look at the different markets, the individual markets, rather, with the same composition. Western Europe, here we increased our deliveries to customers to a total of 477,700 vehicles. That's a plus of 5.2%. Germany, well, we got 173,300 vehicles, so Germany is still the second strongest single market of ŠKODA. Sales improved by 4.9%. In Germany, we are the import brand number 1. We continue to be that, and we've been, well, getting an even more stable position in the volume brands. Central Europe, double-digit increases. Austria plus 17.9%, still Western Europe, Norway 11.7%, Italy 20.3%, France 18.5%. Now Central Europe, 12.7% up, 207,100 vehicles. These are the numbers for Central Europe. In the home market of the Czech Republic, delivery of 95,000 units meant growth of 8% compared to the previous year. And we also had strong double-digit growth in Poland, Slovakia, Hungary, Slovenia, and also in Croatia. Eastern Europe next, without Russia. ŠKODA also grew considerably over the entire year, plus 17.9% to 41,300 vehicles. Now, the Baltics and Serbia saw particularly positive developments, as did Ukraine and Bosnia. In Russia, we had growth figures of 12.5%. 62,300 vehicles is the number to go with that. In China, our delivery increased by 2.5% to 325,000 units sold. So China remains ŠKODA's strongest market worldwide. India, plus 31.4% growth, very strong growth, that is. And a particular success needs to be mentioned here, Israel, a plus of 14.5%. So you can say that we are the strongest European brand in Israel. Now, the next question, of course, is what about the different models and the numbers broken down to the models? The Citigo, we started in May to deliver that. And that's why the deliveries in the first half year was slightly below that of the previous year. But with orders and deliveries, we actually increased that considerably with the new model. That was expected. The Citigo is now part of our electrification campaign, or to put it differently, in other words, the e-Citigo will be an affordable e-car, perfect for urban traffic. It's on its way, and we will introduce it already next year. Contrary to typical life cycle trends, the Fabia saw even further growth last year. After all, that was the last year with the then current model variant. Deliveries still increased by 2.1% to 206,500 vehicles. We have now revamped the model, and it was introduced at the Geneva Motor Show a couple of weeks ago. We expect ongoing positive numbers for this development. The ŠKODA Rapid, our second strongest model family, kept developing in its seventh year in a stable manner, which is a great success. All in all, we delivered 211,500 units to our customers. A true and genuine success model, our Yeti. Now, we discontinued production last year, but since its introduction in 2009, we were able to sell 685,000 units. Even in the last 6 months of the cycle, we still had 70,000 customers who bought this model, and I think it still looks great. The Octavia remains the best-selling of the model range of ŠKODA. So last year, we went beyond the 1.5 million mark. All in all, in 2017, we delivered 418,800 units. So the Octavia, even 6 years after the market launch, is still at a very high level. Our flagship next, the Superb. Now, it really lived up its role at the top of our model range. Deliveries increased by 8.7% to 150,900 vehicles. Never before had we delivered as many units of this model to our customers in one single year. Let's now move on to our SUVs. So we've got dynamic growth there worldwide, and admittedly, in the recent times, we can say that we joined the party rather late with the Kodiaq and the Karak, but it was really something that went great. And you can see here the beginnings, the model that we just put into the program here recently. So the Kodiaq was the first one, the first large SUV produced by ŠKODA, a real game changer for us. It had a very strong start, and already in its first year, it convinced 100,000 customers to buy it. So the SUV is definitely one of the drivers of growth for ŠKODA. Now, the completely new and newly developed Karak, a compact SUV. We've upped the ante now. The world premiere took place in Stockholm last year. It was launched in October, and the international trade press really loves the Karak. So it got 7 international prizes so far, and I'll just going to mention the most important 3 here. The Golden Steering Wheel, awarded by Autobild, Car of the Year in the Czech Republic, and Best Cars, an award given by Automotor and Sport, German trade magazine readers. It was elected Best Compact SUV. Ladies and gentlemen, our products do not just win awards and comparison tests, but something else, and that's the most important thing. It keeps winning the hearts of our customers. 11 new models and model upgrades. With that, ŠKODA has put its largest product campaign within 1 year into action 2017. So we got sustained high demand from customers. We have positive international press response still and numerous awards that we won. So the product campaign really took full effect last year in all of the global markets. The Karak, we presented it last week in China. That was the last market to get it, and the success was great. E-mobility, electric mobility, is also something that's important on our agenda. It's one of the core issues and topics of our strategy 2025. We left our first mark last year with our Vision E concept car. We introduced this fully electric and partly autonomous driving design study at the motor shows in Frankfurt and Shanghai, and the international media were very interested indeed. In 2020, it will be launched as a purely electric car from our brand. It is going to be produced here in ŠKODA's heartland in the Czech Republic. That's important to note. I'm particularly pleased that we were able to make this decision for ŠKODA at group level last November. It is part of 3 groundbreaking decisions. First of all, purely electric models by ŠKODA will be manufactured here in Mladá Boleslav. Secondly, what we also are going to produce here in the main plant are the e-components for plug-in hybrid models from several group brands and for several group brands. And thirdly, the first ŠKODA plug-in hybrid model will be created or produced in Kvasiny, our plant there. This package of decisions proves the high level of trust the group has in the ŠKODA team. We've equipped both sides with new technologies and thereby laid the foundation for future developments with the group as equals. With these decisions, we are safeguarding the future of our company and also of the Czech Republic as an automotive hub. But there's more. Together with the Czech government and business representatives at the beginning of 2017, we had a colloquium. And, well, many of you reported about this. So in October, the Memorandum of Understanding was signed between the government, and 25 binding work packages were adopted. And the adoption is binding. It's about the key issues of electromobility, autonomous driving, and digitalization, as well as cross-sectoral topics such as the promotion of training, research and science. An important step for the Czech Republic, but also for ŠKODA. Now it is absolutely important not to take our foot off the accelerator when implementing the concrete measures. ŠKODA is expecting support from all parties concerned, because it is clear that we will only be successful when we tackle this together. Ladies and gentlemen, we are also shaping the future far away from our home market. ŠKODA has been given the task by the Volkswagen Group to develop an entry-level platform for cars in emerging economies. First of all, focusing on India. That is not an easy undertaking because competition in India is intense. We've gotten quite far with our investigations, and a final decision should be made by the middle of the year, we believe. So, if everything goes well, at the beginning of 2021, we could already be selling the first cars based on this platform. There is no doubt. Taking over responsibility for the MQB A0 project, taking over the responsibility is a great challenge for ŠKODA. One we address with respect, but also a great deal of motivation. At the same time, we also broaden our base even more with this project, because it will create new high-quality jobs and increase the brand's development competence within the group. Ladies and gentlemen, developing, producing and selling vehicles will always remain a part of ŠKODA's DNA. But added to this, there are also going to be new forms of mobility that'll make the customers' lives, our customers' lives, even safer, more comfortable, convenient and environmentally friendly. And it is precisely these digital services that we are developing in our DigiLab in Prague. Some of you might have visited it. So, we are currently assessing and considering more than 40 new ideas. The Geneva show car, the Vision X, incorporates no less than 4 of these mobility offerings already. Smart parking, Hobby Go, Rideshare and Care Driver. These services will guide you to available parking spaces, offer your car to others for rental when you don't need it yourself, and they will also offer car sharing opportunities in your vehicle. They will also make sure, for example, that your child is picked up in a reliable and safe way by a trustworthy person, for example from kindergarten, because you, for whatever reason, can't make it on time. Now, we successfully completed our testing phase in Munich. We are now bringing the service to Wolfsburg, and plans are underway for other cities. For us, it is all about creating real added value for our customers. And services like these are not just developed in our digital lab in Prague, the creative center, but also in the ŠKODA Innovation Lab, the first spin-off right in the heart of Tel Aviv, which is the startup stronghold beyond Silicon Valley. We are now raising our digitization activities to a new level. And we founded a joint venture together with our partner, Champion Motors, to this end. Why are we doing this? In particular, to strengthen our network in Israel and have direct access to the most promising startup ideas. Ladies and gentlemen, last year it is not just that we really invested into the new business field mobility solutions, but also, of course, into our core business, producing cars, along the entire process chain. And there are 3 significant projects that I'd like to focus on. First of all, the new press line for aluminium body parts, which we opened at the start of April. It is one of the most modern ones in Europe. And the advantages for ŠKODA: more flexible production processes, shorter changeover times, and we also save 15% in terms of energy. And with this, we've also created more than 140 new jobs here in Mladá Boleslav. Secondly, we invested around 250 million euros in a new paint shop, and this will create another 650 new jobs. The increase of the paint shop capacity is increased by 600 units to a total of 2,700 cars per day. And if everything goes according to plan, the new paint shop will start operation, go live as early as June 2019. And thirdly, the modernization, revamping of the vocational school for mechanical engineering, which was completed at the end of February of 2017. So in the last 3 years, we invested over 7 million euros in renovations and new buildings, as well as modern educational technology. We offer our students high-quality teaching in modern classrooms, and this way we do invest in particular into human capital. The outlook, ladies and gentlemen. The car business will remain challenging this year. That's what we know today already. Investments into existing and new technologies are more than just a double burden on us. The political and economic uncertainties in some markets are going to continue, and competition will also remain fierce. In addition, discussions about possible trade tariff disputes are not expedient, not for anybody involved. And then there is the successive change of the pellet, the Worldwide Harmonized Light Vehicle Test Procedure, WLTP. We change over to that and we invest a great deal of effort. Customers profit from the new standard because the benchmarks or comparison standards are more realistic for emissions and consumption. For us as car manufacturers, and ŠKODA in particular this year, it's really a major effort that we have to undergo. What's clear here, the transition, will certainly also have an impact on the availability of individual products in some of our European markets. However, there are lots of positive news as well. The most important one, the global market for cars is going to continue to grow. Experts believe that up till 2025, 2027, the 95 million mark will be surpassed. And of course, ŠKODA wants to participate in this growth. And for this year, let's see whether we got head or tailwinds, but we do expect our deliveries to customers for this year to exceed those of last year. Ladies and gentlemen, as you do know, we've got collective negotiations. At present, to put it casually, we've already got quite a bit of the route ahead of us. We do know that we need an extraordinary agreement in order to remain competitive in the labor market here in the Czech Republic. So it mustn't be neither too high nor too low, because in both cases, or either cases, both sides would lose out. Those that demand too much and those who actually promise too much. We want a convincing overall package, and with COVA, we are doing very constructive work. I'm sure we are going to find it. And there is one basic principle: good wages for good work. And this very good work is something that ŠKODA has also shown in the first months. We deliver from a position of strength. We started into the new year. In the first 2 months, 196,000 units were developed, a plus of 12.4% compared to the previous year. Year on year, another record value. First of all, the SUVs Karak and Kodiaq, they're very popular with our customers. All in all, the beginning of the year has been very successful. And we are building on this momentum. By the end of 2020, we will have launched a total of 19 new models. This extensive product campaign will be continued, and it is one crucial lever in our strategy 2025 for achieving sustainable growth for the company in the years to come. And based on all of this, we do see the opportunity to be selling more than 2 million cars per year by 2025. In order to implement this growth path, it is very important to adopt the measures that are necessary now. And the ongoing discussions with all stakeholders are going to be continued. We are looking at additional capacities and the intelligent network of plants of the group. And of course, it is our objective to take the Czech Republic and Mladá Boleslav and have them participate in this growth. Therefore, we are also looking at the increase in capacities or the possibility here in Mladá Boleslav, for example, by a short-term adjustment of the shift systems. If we succeeded in this context, we could also adopt basic infrastructural measures, better roads, new flats and apartments and social organizations. So a double-digit million amount is what we are looking into for investing it in here. So we want to be a future-proof employer at an attractive location, an employer continuing along its growth path with the biggest product and technology campaign in a decisive way, with a very strong focus on its home location, and a company being successful. The urban crossover is one part of all of this. We presented this as the Geneva Motor Show, the Vision X. It's going to be launched next year already. The concept car really gives you an outlook of the evolution of our design language. So the exterior is already very close to volume production. As far as the interior and the drive technology is concerned, we'll be going one step further into the future. The design language, well, we've got Oliver Stefani as the head of design, and the team of him and he are working on that. We want to make our models even more attractive and desirable. There are two more other models that were presented at the Geneva show. The new Fabia, which will be launched in the second half of the year, and our best-selling SUV, the Kodiaq, which is now available in the top trim level, Lorin and Clement. Last week, we launched the Kodiaq in China, which was accompanied by the media with a great deal of interest. The new CUV will be presented then in Beijing at the Motor Show, the SUV that we are going to build for the Chinese customers, and the Kodiaq GT, which will follow a few weeks later. Both model shows were very serious about doubling the business, the initiative in China. Up to 2020, we want to increase our sales figures, double them really, and this means about 600,000 cars or units per year. Ladies and gentlemen, there is another topic which plays a central role in our product campaign: the electrification of our model range. Until 2022, we are going to invest a total of 2 billion euros into alternative drive systems and digitalization. This contains investments for the development of new products, as well as in the vehicles production, procurement, the quality and the launch of the cars. It's the largest investment program in ŠKODA's history. Our product roadmap for electromobility is clear. We will bring a total of 10 electrified models to our customers between now and 2025. Next year already, we'll get the first plug-in hybrid model by ŠKODA, the Superb. And in the same year, we will introduce the eCitigo, we mentioned that before. At the same time already, we start production of electrical components for the plug-in hybrid electric vehicles for several brands. And in 2020, we'll have the volume production versions of the Vision E, a big SUV based on the MEB modular electric car platform with a range of more than 500 kilometers, positioned between the Kodiaq and the Kodiaq. With this model, we make full use of all of the benefits of electromobility: short charging times, long ranges, and reasonable battery cost. Only then electromobility will be really attractive. Only then will it be simply clever. Ladies and gentlemen, to summarize, we are driving forward with Škoda. First of all, with new models. Until the end of 2020, we are going to launch a total of 19 new models. 5 will be electrified cars, e-cars. Secondly, more e-mobility is not just achievable by Škoda, but it's emotional, it's efficient, and it's easy to use in everyday use. And by 2025, we'll have 10 electrified models, and we are going to invest about 2 billion euros in the next 4 to 5 years. And number 3, with more digitalization, well, we are testing this in our digital lab. Our target is clear. 40 ideas are tested in the lab, and we do that in order to develop even faster and better, simply clever digital ideas, and open this as a new business area and establish it as such. Ladies and gentlemen, you see Škoda is on the move. And in spite of all of the challenges, we are very optimistic when looking into the future. Our recipe for success is driven by inventiveness, clever ideas since 1895. And that is exactly what we're also working on this year. And again, we're picking up pace again, and we position ourselves for the future with new products and mobility services and the exploration of new markets. We're even stronger than before. Škoda remains on track with the implementation of its 2025 strategy. You can rely on Škoda more than ever. And now I'd like to pass the floor to my colleague Klaus-Dieter Schirmann, who's going to tell you about Škoda's financial situation. Thank you for the attention. It's great to have you.
Добрый день from me as well. Ladies and gentlemen, I would also like to offer you a warm welcome to our annual press conference. Mr. Maier said at the beginning that in 2017 ŠKODA AUTO delivered more than 1.2 million vehicles to our customers, setting yet another sales record. A great performance, great achievement from all our employees and our retail partners and suppliers. The sales record has also led to a new record level of sales revenue and operating profit, so it doesn't come as a surprise that our net cash flow has also reached a new record level. As set out earlier, another record was set in 2017 with a profit of 1.61 billion euros, which is the best result in the company's history. Ladies and gentlemen, let me now briefly summarize the key figures for the ŠKODA AUTO Group for the 2017 financial year. These figures are communicated in our press releases and numbers are in euros. The global deliveries that Mr. Maier mentioned, deliveries to customers, including China, increased by 6.6% year-on-year. When it comes to sales revenue and profit resulting from business in China are not recorded in this ŠKODA subgroup, with the exception of royalties. I'd like to show you the deliveries excluding China here. In 2017, they totaled 876,000 cars. That's 8.2% more than in 2016. Based on these 876,000 vehicles, ŠKODA AUTO also achieved a new record sales revenue of just under 16.6 billion euros. This is just under 21% more than the previous year. The operating profit stood at 1.6 billion euros and was thus considerably higher than that of 2016, by 34.6% in fact. This disproportionate increase in sales revenue by 20.8% compared to the 8.2% of increase in deliveries and the increase in the overall profit by 34.6% can mainly be attributed to the successful launch of our ŠKODA Kodiaq model, which was fully available for the very first time in 2017 Mr. Maier called it a game changer. This marked the start of our SUV strategy. Now, for our Czech guests, I would now like to outline some key figures from the annual report of the individual company, that is ŠKODA AUTO AS. Sales revenue increased to over 407 billion Czech korunas, nearly 60 billion more than in 2016. In 2017, the operating income increased to 40.53 billion Czech korunas, which is an increase of almost 10 billion. Profit before tax amounted to 39.1 billion korunas, compared to 30.8 billion in the previous year, 2016. In 2016, income tax was almost 5.7 billion korunas, while in 2017 we expect this to increase by almost 1.6 billion korunas to approximately 7.3 billion. So we're still number one when it comes to taxpayers in the Czech Republic. This is an increase by 28.1%. When it comes to profit after income tax, this is accordingly 31.8 billion korunas, which is an increase of 6.7 billion. When it comes to operating profit, the main drivers were, when it comes to the previous year's level, were an increase of our vehicle sales, first of all, and in line with that, running our plants at a very high capacity, improved mixes, as we mentioned before, in particular through our ŠKODA Kodiaq, and optimized product costs. Now, it's important to highlight that past investments in our SUV portfolio are now also paying off clearly. There's one other thing that should be emphasized. Rigorous cost and efficiency management also continues to have high priority at ŠKODA AUTO. High depreciation on investments made in the last few years and increased labor costs, including a higher performance bonus for all employees, have had a financially negative effect on our results. When it comes to the strong earnings power of ŠKODA AUTO, this is also reflected in the profit margin that was achieved, 9.7% for 2017, representing an improvement of 1 percentage point of profitability. When it comes to return on investment, we were able to increase our ROI from 26% in 2016 to 34% in 2017. This increase can primarily be attributed to the higher operating profit. Let me summarize. ŠKODA AUTO continues to be a truly healthy and profitable company, operating in a profitable manner. Thus, ŠKODA AUTO is positioned at the top end amongst our competitors within the European automotive industry, demonstrating its high profitability. Now, I'd like to briefly cover investments in tangible assets and development costs. Last year, ŠKODA AUTO continued to rigorously implement its investment campaign, once again making significant investments in its plant in the Czech Republic and future products, most notably in the expansion of our SUV range. In 2017, we invested 733 million euros, which is 34% more than the year before. This clearly shows that we continue to adhere to the refurbishment and expansion of our plants as well as our model range, and that we are driving this forward at full force. Development costs have even increased by 52%, amounting to 585 million euros in 2017. That's a clear signal that we are preparing very actively for the major technological changes of the coming years. Especially when it comes to developing e-mobility and digitalization, we have spent and will continue to spend considerably more. Thus, we also contribute to the development of the automotive industry in the Czech Republic. Our decision last year to also manufacture using state-of-the-art MEB platform technology in the future in Mladá Boleslav is also evidence of our long-lasting commitment to our Czech plants. Moving on to cash flow. Just like the development of our operating profit that you can see on the left, our cash flow is also substantially improved and has been since 2013. This is a strong increase against the backdrop of the volatile conditions in global markets. Net flow is defined as cash flow after investments and tax payments. Ladies and gentlemen, let me now summarize the business year for 2017. Despite a competitive environment, challenging in part, we can look back at the most successful financial year in our company's history. Both when it comes to deliveries to customers and revenue, ŠKODA AUTO achieved historic record high levels. We were able to increase our operating profit to 1.611 million euros, a record number for the company, and with a return on sales of 9.7% and a return on investment of 34.2%, ŠKODA AUTO is also at a very high level compared with the industry around the world, in fact. Despite high investments and development costs, again, our net cash flow reached 1.37 billion euros, exceeding last year's figure. Thank you very much for listening, and I'll now pass on to Bohdan Vojna from the board. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, guests, I would like to welcome you cordially at today's annual press conference of ŠKODA AUTO. By way of introduction, I want to say that the area of HR has had a very demanding but successful year as well. This year was a year of topics of development of Czech factories, in particular in Kvasiny in the Eastern Czech Republic. It also entailed the support of the secondary vocational school of mechanical engineering. We prepared staff for tasks in line with the megatrends of the automotive industry, and I would like to speak about these trends in the coming minutes. As we have said, ŠKODA AUTO celebrated 90 years of vocational training last year. Over this period of time, we have prepared more than 23,000 graduates for their future careers. 2017 was not only about celebrating the 90th anniversary, but it was also the year of the modernization of the vocational school facilities. We concluded a social memorandum with KOVO, and since 2014 we have invested more than 260 million Czech crowns in the vocational training facility. The result is that we have the new robotics center, the multipurpose hall, and a language center. Talented young people will guarantee the success of our company and the Czech Republic. For this reason, the Czech Republic wants to implement dual education and wants to do that across the entire Czech Republic. In personal marketing, we intensely collaborate with universities in the Czech Republic. This doesn't end here. We have to continue our investment related with electromobility and related areas. The increased demand for our products, the expansion of our portfolio, and the responsibility of ŠKODA is reflected in the employment rate. Today, we give work to the highest number of employees. Since 1991, we have seen that ŠKODA AUTO and Volkswagen merged, and since then we have more than doubled the number of employees. Over the past year, the number of core employees has risen by almost 12% to almost 31,600 employees. We also have external workers who work for us at ŠKODA, and this brings us to 35,000 direct employees. Employees are an important pillar of success of ŠKODA. On behalf of my person and the entire board, I would like to thank them for this exceptional result. ŠKODA AUTO at present has a very good utilization of its capacity at its factories. Together with the social partner, we have safeguarded the future of the Kwasiny plant. Over the past 12 months, the staff there and colleagues in the entire company have reached an outstanding result. We would barely find a similar result throughout Europe when comparing this to Kwasiny. There are many challenges ahead of us. We have mastered many already, and we have to work on the coming challenges in future, of course. ŠKODA AUTO is continuously implementing new measures. We keep contact with the local government and the national government as well. We need assistance of the government, in particular in the area of infrastructure, and we need this vitally for further development. The automotive industry is experiencing one of the biggest transformations in its history. CO2 legislation will be valid as of 2020, and this entails unprecedented investment. In order to be able to compete with our models, we need this investment. In Mladá Boleslav, we will produce electric vehicles, and this is a great step for us, for our brand in future. It's a step for us so that we continue to be the hub of the automotive industry. We may not forget about the development of internal and external infrastructure. We collaborate with local municipalities, with the KOVO trade unions, and we want to support and increase the attractiveness of the city of Mladá Boleslav and the entire region. As Bernhard Maier has said, ŠKODA AUTO is prepared to invest into increasing the attractiveness of the region of Mladá Boleslav from 2018 to 2020. To hundreds of millions of Czech crowns. Our priority will be quality of life, quality of the public space, making it more attractive, and support for education. I'm happy that the success of the company is also visible in the remuneration. In the category of production staff, the average wage has risen by more than 10%. ŠKODA AUTO is an employer which raises salaries in both bad and good times continually. In late 2017, we have concluded extra bonuses for our employees, and collective bargaining is ongoing at present as well. For the future, we expect a larger increase in the average wage in 2018. The situation in the job market continues to be a challenge for us. A high demand for qualified staff is still a topic in the Czech Republic. After years of economic stagnation, the Czech Republic is now experiencing a significant economic growth, and this trend was there already in 2017. This means that the number of job applicants is falling, the number of vacancies is growing, we have a negative demographic curve and a low mobility of workforce in the Czech Republic. With regard to this situation and the changes in the automotive industry, the area of HR is now facing key strategic and operative challenges. First, with respect to the production of fully electric vehicles, we have developed a plan for qualification development in the area of e-mobility. We need to develop competencies of our employees, and we need further automation and robotization of our production. The new generation also finds corporate culture very important. Young people require more accountability, more trust, and a different way of management. Companies have to communicate with their existing and future employees more. They need to use social networks, and they need to care for their employees. Ladies and gentlemen, by way of conclusion, I would like to say that the utilized capacity at ŠKODA is very good. We need to be aware of future challenges, however. The production of electric vehicles confirms the high trust of the group in the staff of ŠKODA AUTO, and it actually represents an extremely step for the future of ŠKODA AUTO. ŠKODA AUTO will invest in the internal and external infrastructure. I believe that based on our joint collaboration and social dialogue, we will be able to use the opportunity posed by these challenges in the automotive industry. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your remarks. And now the time has come for your questions, please. So let me ask the three speakers to join me on the stage again. There will be microphones if you wanted to ask any questions. Are there any questions? While the speakers are joining me, we could bring you a microphone. Please, a show of hands. Raise your hand if you'd like to ask a question. No question? No. Okay, great. Go ahead.
Mikrofon kommt.
The microphone's coming.
Autotablet.cz.
Autotablet.cz, Rychecki. So in the future plans of ŠKODA AUTO, I was missing a remark about CNG powertrains. I mean, do you count with it for the future as well? So Mr. Schürmann didn't have a translation in German, so please once again.
Well, I think I should answer that question. Today we have two cars with CNG technology, that's the Citigo and the Octavia. For some markets we've been very successful in a sustained way. We call it a bivalent propulsion system. In other words, it's hybrid with traditional fuel and with gas. We believe that CNG is an available and fast solution to make sure that the air quality can be improved in cities with this biofuel technology, because CNG burns in a much better way with 20% improved CO2 emissions compared to a traditional petrol engine, almost no dust particulate matter, and NOx or NOx particulates are very small and not a lot, and can be captured with a converter system, a trap. That's why with the Vision X we launched a study in the market that is an ideal combination when it comes to the drive technology. An intelligent biofuel CNG propulsion system, really single fuel, because the petrol fuel tank is very small. So it's a CNG system combined with an electric system driving the rear axle, which is supplied through a low voltage system and a generator connecting it to the CNG, or coupling it, if you want, with the CNG engine. Low CO2, long ranges are part of the achievements of that system, and that allows us to use biogas as well as a fuel. That means the customer would be CO2-free 100% by using that system. So it's a great contribution. It's available at short notice with an existing infrastructure in many countries as well. So it's technology we'll be using for the future. Any other questions? Go ahead.
Yeah, here. Okay, then you start.
Okay, hello. My name is Kirill, 66.ru, Russia, Yekaterinburg. A question for Gerd Maier. First of all, my congrats about sales result, great result. But don't you afraid that one day everything go wrong, and after strong growth you will have a big crash? Are you ready for it?
Well, of course, we are looking at all the risks that the business environment presents. We take all of that into account. We're observing the risks. And that is why we are happy that we've been able to develop some substance, potential reserves in the past few years. Of course, we're not immune to major changes. We don't live on an island as a company, and we also know that we need a lot of investment for the future to make sure that these paradigm changes in the industry and the world are something that we can not only go along with, but also help trigger in fact. So our starting position is one of strength, and if our planning works out as anticipated, we'll continue to write this success story at ŠKODA. No doubt that from 2020, with the new CO2 legislation in international markets, this will mean additional investment in the million range. And it's exactly that additional expense and related cost as well that we'd like to meet and be prepared for with an extraordinary growth program to make sure that we keep our financial strength.
Bitte.
Hrnčíř Tomáš, volný motoristický novinář.
Hrnčíř Tomáš, motorist journalist. We know that ŠKODA will be investing billions into e-mobility, but I would like to know whether you count that there will be some investment into hydrogen powertrains too. Thank you.
In future, now when you really look far ahead in future, there's going to be a large variety of different driver propulsion technologies, and it is quite thinkable that in the more distant future hydrogen will play a role. We at ŠKODA, well, with our strategy 2025, we've started to plan first of all for this foreseeable future, and we said we are not going to do just everything that's technically feasible and offer it in the ŠKODA in this period of time. We do listen carefully to our customers. We do take a very close look at the competitive environment and also the infrastructures that we got. For the next years to come, we do believe, or we are convinced even, that the infrastructure for e-mobility will really soar and be pushed ahead. And when we have the products in the market, the infrastructure will be much better than before when it comes to charging the cars in particular. So from our point of view, we feel that we're going to launch our cars at the right point of time. So our customers got the comfort or the convenience and the range that they justly expect e-mobility or e-cars to bring. Other technologies, should hydrogen be ever of any relevance, well, there is one partner brand in our group that has started to look very much into this technology in order to be up to scratch. So should this happen with our intelligent group of companies, we'll be able to access these technologies.
Okay.
Yeah, hello, Nick Gibbs, Automotive News Europe. I have two questions for Mr. Maier. The first one is on production. You want to sell 2 million cars by 2025. Of the European sales, can that extra capacity be Will that come from plants within the Czech Republic? And if so, do you need a new plant in the Czech Republic? And my second question is on the strategy for SUVs in China. We're hearing that you're going to be launching a new SUV at the Beijing Auto Show. Why does China need its own SUV? What particular benefit does that give you, rather than adopting one from Europe? Thank you very much.
Gut.
Okay, so the difficult questions, well, we expected them to go to our finance director, but you've asked me, and the HR, by the way, to the HR director. Production that we want to increase. It will not come solely from the Czech Republic. It won't be possible. Quite a large part will come from China, 600,000 units. That's what we're going to have, going up from 325,000 units until the year 2020. And we've already installed or prepared these production capacities. Moreover, in Russia, we also got 2 locations. The capacity there was increased just recently. In the past weeks, we gave the starting sign for the production of the Kodiaq in Russia, for Russia. So we triggered that. And the capacity for that have also been expanded. Now, we are in intensive discussions about India. We haven't really completed the studies there, so I can't come up with any concrete or specific numbers. We got more production sites all over the world, which we do prepare successively, or will prepare step by step for this growth. And to answer your question, yes, without expanded production capacity, either in the Czech Republic, by expanding the shift systems here in Mladá Boleslav, and that would give us another 80,000 units, or a total capacity of 80,000 units, without having to look for other investment capacity in the intelligent network of the group. This won't be possible. So we need this in order to cater for the strong demand that is to continue. And that's exactly why we have to adopt the decisions now to cover the demand for 2020 that we already can foresee today. Delivery times for our products today, from our point of view, are definitely too long. In some markets, customers have to wait 8 to 10 months, and we want to reduce it to a proper level.
Die zweite Frage.
Second question, China. China, in these past years, China has experienced outstanding growth, extraordinary growth of SUV numbers. I think we've had the most dynamic development of SUV growth in China, several 100% over 2 years, only 2 years. And the segments where ŠKODA is at home, there the growth is above proportion, disproportionate, higher than average. Therefore, in China, we reinforced or expanded our SUV campaign, because that's also why we have the 2 SUVs made in China and for China. We are going to launch them this year.
Yeah.
Next question at the front, please.
Artur Sarukhanov, За рулем magazine in Russia. One more question to Mr. Maier. You mentioned here the third model SUV, but we have in Russia only one, which is Kodiaq. Do you have already the plans for launch karaoke in Russia?
That's
a product that we are investigating thoroughly at the moment. To do that, we would need the capacity that is needed, which is something that we currently don't have yet. But we are talking to our contract manufacturer in Nizhny Novgorod very actively, and also to the plant in Kaluga, our plant. Next question, over there.
我是来自中国的网上测试记者。我想有一个问题，就是今年大众还是
Thank you. I'm from China, and I'm from automotive portal there. And in addition to Volkswagen and the Volkswagen brand, ŠKODA is another strong brand in the Chinese market. But its 3 brands owned by the Volkswagen Group there that are competing. Where do you position your models? The Karoq was also launched, among other things. We believe that the price is quite good. Is ŠKODA part of the price-based competition in China as well? Let me first of all say that we are a multi-brand group with 12 different automotive brands across the world. There are some segments that we are serving in the same way that other multi-brand car makers are doing. In other words, serving some segments with several brands. And that's especially true for the volume segment, but also for the premium segment. Every brand has its own unique appearance and position and its own target group. And of course, that's true for ŠKODA as well. We stand for value for money. And we stand for a great space offering, excellent performance, high reliability, many simply clever ideas. And for a number of years, we've been standing for very expressive and distinctive design and styling. A smart understatement, that's really the summary. And that is the list of values that our brand represents, which customers like a lot. So that will be the basis for our future products and how they will be sold. Our sales organizations in the global markets will be strengthened accordingly. Alain Favet has just been to China and spoke to the dealers there. A number of new dealers are brought online in the Chinese market every year to make sure that we sustain the growth program there. In terms of the money point, the market likes us, especially in China. We have time for 2 more questions.
Yes, please.
Forbes, 2 questions for Mr. Maier, and if you could compare the record results when it comes to growth of the revenues within the whole group. I mean, could you perhaps tell us on which place ŠKODA is within the whole group? And for Mr. Vojna as well, the second question, you talked about the problems with employees and with hiring new employees. I mean, could you perhaps tell us how many employees you miss in the Czech Republic, how many vacancies are unfilled, and how would you like to deal with it as well? Thank you.
First of all, growth and revenue quality of profit. Now, a personal answer, if I may. The size of the margin or the result is not an objective in itself, a target in itself. What we are interested in is the board of management. We want to have sustainable growth, something that makes it possible for us to lead the company into a successful future. That also makes it possible for us to invest everything that needs invested from the net cash flow in order not just to be a stable but also a very attractive employer. 35,000 employees, that's what we got at present. We want to keep growing in this region and wherever we do have factories and plants. We want to offer stability because this very likable brand is to be pushed into the market even more, guarding the future.
When it comes to the second question, and when it basically concerns the whole Czech Republic and the whole industry, well, the question is, and the answer to your question isn't really that simple, because the truth is that we are right now in a situation where the Czech Republic isn't really able to use its economic growth potential, because we have 130,000 job vacancies at the moment, and who follows the trends? I mean, you will probably see that in the course of a few years, this number of vacancies has grown dramatically, and of course there is extremely low unemployment rate. So what we could do, how to deal with this phenomenon, I mean, several ways, of course, and I mean, these cannot be implemented overnight, so to speak. So first of all, we have to launch the process where companies have to basically go through. I mean, regardless of origin of these companies, I mean, it will be process of high automation and robotization, and of course it will require not really small financial investments, but quite the contrary. But I mean, of course, this is basically a way how to deal with this particular situation, and of course it's a whole package of short-term measures, and I would like to mention two things. First is internal migration, internal mobility, and external migration. Of course, when it comes to external migration, I mean, that brings about certain debates, even on the highest political level, on the level of tripartite as well. But we are ŠKODA AUTO, and if you take a bit of a step back to us, I mean, a great example of 100% wonderful work integration of Ukrainian employees. I mean, we dealt with this topic with social partner. We address them as our core employees and give them future and give them perspective for the future, and not to go through the method of salary dumping. And of course the other issue is internal migration, again very important topic, because if we don't find more efficient programs together with the Czech government how to support economically strong developing regions in order to provide for the infrastructure around them for them, then of course it'll be very difficult for each successful employer or investor, and that's why we have to work on it, and we have very intensive debates about this. And when it comes to the numbers, so if you look at the statements of the Association for Industry and Transport, I mean, they speak of about 200,000 job vacancies, and I mean, of course, the number is not really telling that much, because there is continuously a change of structure, and of course the jobs are changing, and they are sort of developing themselves, and that's why we have to address it in the future.
Da gerne noch einen Satz hinzufügen, wenn Sie erlauben.
To add something, if I may, the Czech Republic, just in these past years, has really developed in an outstanding manner. When you look at the EU 28 ranking, we are way ahead of everybody else in many facets, whether it's the gross national product, whether it's unemployment numbers or ratios, percentages. When you look at the general conditions of ours, well, they couldn't be any better, almost. We've got the lowest interest rates and very prosperous development altogether. So on top of everything else, there are some issues that we've really looked into here in the Czech Republic. First of all, the demographic development. In particular, in the past 2 years, we've seen the repercussions there, because we had a sharp drop in birth rates after the Iron Curtain came down. And this is something that we are going to feel in the years to come, and very much so. Which means that when we want to keep growing in the Czech Republic, the only thing that we can base this on is migration. Utilizing our capacities even better, investing even more into automation for this growth to become possible, and to continue this growth that the Czech Republic has become used to. That's our approach. We, as a private company in the Czech Republic, now, as a company that stands for more than 5% of the GNP, we have this responsibility, and this is why we are very much in favor of keeping to the growth path of ŠKODA, where the Czech Republic and Mladá Boleslav are to participate. And the shift systems, expanding these, this is a proposal for the short run. We do hope that together with the country here, the state, the region, also with the city of Mladá Boleslav, and with our social partner Kovo, that we're going to find a solution, all to the benefit of the Czech Republic.
Yeah, we hear you.
Can you hear me?
Of course.
Latka Bauerová, Bloomberg News. I just want to come back a little bit to the wages. The central bank removed the Koruna cap last year, and since then Koruna has been appreciating a little bit, and that together with the wage growth in general in the economy must have somewhat affected your margins, I imagine, and this trend is going to continue. So if you could just talk a little bit about that, is it becoming a concern in terms of profitability of the brand, with your outlook on the future?
Sorry, I have to apologize for my voice. I'm a bit got sore throat. Anyway, I'm going to try to answer your question. Last year, you mentioned this, we had quite a appreciation of the koruna and a depreciation of the British pound. And you see that in spite of this, we actually kept the results on a record high last year. We had actually hedged against exchange rate variations. That cannot be done in the long run, of course. Should there be a sustainable strengthening of the Czech koruna or crown, then of course it is going to have an impact on our capability to export our products. I don't need to tell you, okay, 80% of our volume, the volume that we produced, or even a bit more, is exported from the Czech Republic elsewhere. So our competitiveness will definitely and undoubtedly be influenced in a negative manner. So there's nothing to be done about that. Okay, one last question, and then the gentleman will also be available for individual interviews, but the official part will have to be terminated. Yes, please.
Rachel Burgess from Autocar in the UK. A question for Mr. Maier. We know the Kodiaq VRS is arriving this year. When will we see the Karoq VRS, and what are your broader plans for the VRS brand? Is there any scope for it to become a standalone brand like Seat has done with the Cupra?
Well, when it comes to the RS editions of Škoda, they've been successful for a number of years. In some markets, we achieve high market shares with the RS models. There are some where the Octavia sells more than 15% of the S line. This very sporty edition is very popular. And that is also the reason why we are thinking about these lines for other models as well. I was also explaining that we have the biggest campaign ahead of us, 90 new products by 2020, when it comes to the model campaign, and of course that will continue after. And we're not only investing in conventional technology, but also new technology. So we have a lot of ideas, I can tell you. In fact, we really have to filter out which ideas fit in with what customers want best and what helps the brand best. So there's a lot to look forward to. We have a lot in our arsenal, and Mr. Favet and his teams will make sure that all the errors will hit their mark in all the countries. Thank you very much again for coming. This completes the official part of the press conference. We'll take a picture now with the board members at the Vision X, and everybody is available for one-on-ones then. In terms of housekeeping, let me ask you to perhaps leave this room at 1:45 at the latest and join us for lunch downstairs, because we'll have to convert the room. With the Vision X, we'll have another event later on, so the car will have to be taken out. Thank you very much for coming, and now enjoy the one-on-ones. Thank you.